Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've been missing a couple wrap-up videos, so I checked. The last time I gave you guys an update of what I read was September. It is now March. I know. So I truthfully have no idea what I read October, November, or December. And I haven't had the time to actually go through my notes and figure out what I've been up to. But I will do that. I have figured out January and February so far. So we're gonna put January and February in one video to get this over with. Because I've read a total of, I think 10 books. Let's see. Yes, so I've read a total of 10 books since the year has started. So in January I read 7 books, and then in February I read 3. Not too many considering how much I usually read, but not too bad because at least I read it all, because any page counts, and I'm just happy I picked up a book. Anyway, so I currently trying to figure out what I've been up to. Let me get the books. I am unprepared. It is so hard to get back into this and actually be prepared for anything. Wow. I could have expected that. But here you go. Welcome to my chaos. Turns out I don't own most books anymore because I forgot that I've moved countries and I got rid of most of them. So bear with me. I do have two physical copies though. So I started off with Love on the Air. This book was kind of like an enemies to lovers, I think, and it was really good. I bought this in New Zealand. This is a New Zealand author, and I got this as like a book blind date. It was so good, and it's also, I believe it's signed. Is it? Yeah, I just don't know where. Oh my god. Can you tell I drowned the book by accident? Look at it. So it is also signed. Oh my god, it was so good. I got this book as a blind date when I got to Auckland in September, but I haven't read it until January, but I totally ate it up. It's set in Sydney, which I love because I also love Sydney. I love Australia, all of that. Huge fan, so this was an amazing setting. And this is about, what's her name? Alex, I think. This is about Alex, and she's hosting like a radio thing, and she gets the opportunity to take over a huge like role, like huge show. And when she starts that, she gets paired up with this guy. His name is, nobody knows. Okay, what's your name? What's your name? It might be Leo. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think it's Leo. Leo. We found his name. So Leo is her new boss, and she doesn't really like him at the beginning, and you know, it's this whole thing, but there is something going on between them. But I mean, there's a lot of drama going on with her taking over the show. There's some drama with her and Leo because obviously they don't really like each other from the beginning. And also, he's her new boss. It was such a good story. I loved reading it. I loved the whole radio show setup. I loved that it was set in Sydney. They went to London, so they did travel a bit. It was so good. And it was such a nice read, and I read it in January when it was really hot outside because I was in Australia. So that was just so good. Totally ate that up. That was book number 1 that I've read. I think this was actually the first book I finished this year. So definitely that was such a good book, and if you're in the mood for a fun little romance with some drama going on, this is your book, and also set in beautiful Sydney. Love it. The next book and the last physical book I own is Brimstone. This took me a while to get through for some reason. I started this when it came out, and I got this beautiful edition which this is really gorgeous. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have read Quicksilver by now. And oh my god, I freaking adored this book. It took me some time to get into it because I felt like there wasn't a lot going on in the first 200 pages. But also, a grumpy, morally grey fae? Is he a fae? I think so. Either way, grumpy, morally grey. I ate it up. I ate it up. What can I say? I'm such a sucker for Kingfisher. I would read 600 pages of just Kingfisher doing nothing and I'd be fine with it because I love Kingfisher. So this whole book was a continuation of Quicksilver, obviously because it's book 2. Bear with me, I am chaotic, or maybe just get used to it at this point. So anyway, Quicksilver started off with Ceres getting introduced to this whole world. I really don't want to spoil anything, but basically there's a lot going on with alchemists, there's a lot going on with fae, and like there's this whole like fantasy world that you dive into and you get to know more and more about this. Ceres gets to know this whole new world and it continues in this, and she keeps evolving and there's more and more and more intriguing stuff, and I love this book. I know a lot of people have been disappointed in this, but I enjoyed it. It just took a little bit to get into it because also I wasn't really reading that much. But that was book number 2 and I loved it because Kingfisher, hell yes. Next up, I read The Defender by Anna Huang. That is book number 2 in this series, and I don't remember what book number 1. The first book was about Scarlet and I don't know who, and the second book is about her brother. And it's this whole thing of she's the coach's daughter, like this, it's a whole like soccer club, and I think she's the coach's daughter. She has to move in with him because of some drama going on, or I think he moves in with her because of his identity like being leaked. Either way, they move in together and they don't want the coach to find out. They do not like each other whatsoever, but when they move in together, oopsie, you know, and they were roommates. That's all I can say. It was a really good book. I absolutely enjoyed reading it, and I just love Anna Huang and her writing style because it's always on point. It's always on point, that's all I can say. Next up we have Love in the Times of Serial Killers, and I was so excited for that book. I read that with my little book club because in Australia I met this lovely girl and we started a little book club, just the 2 of us, but it was so much fun. And we were so excited for that book, and I've read 2 or 3 books by that author and I was so excited, but sadly I was a bit disappointed because I thought this book had so much potential. Like, what if he's an actual serial killer or something? But no, he was just a friendly neighbor. And the whole book, I had such a hard time like finishing it, and that's why I also got rid of it because yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Because the whole book was about her being afraid of him being a serial killer, and then he was really just a friendly guy. Which I could have known that it wasn't, like, it basically says it on the back already that he's just a friendly guy, and it was just a typical romance story. But I had hopes. I read dark romance, okay guys? I read dark romance. This was not dark romance. This was a cutesy romance, and I was like, oh, so you're just paranoid. Great. So I didn't really enjoy that book. Sorry guys. Definitely just kind of spoiled it there, but oopsie. Anyway, that was the next book that I read, and I don't really remember much of it. I don't remember their names. I don't remember where it was set. I just know I didn't really fuck with it. Oops. But next up I read Silver Elite, and I would have loved to keep the copy of it because I loved it so much. I loved it so much. But I took the book to the beach and the glue dissolved. So I had single pages instead of a full book. So I didn't bring it. Oops. Silver Elite was so good. It was about, oh dear god, what's their names? Why can I never remember names? I gave this 5 stars. That's how much I loved it, and I cannot. Ren and Cross. Oh, yes. Ren and Cross. She starts this whole program training and proving herself to get into the silver block. She gets forced to participate in that. And once she realizes what's going on, she kind of like tries to fight it, and then she like realizes, oh my god, like there's actual potential behind this, and you know, I can, you know, there's this whole like intrigues with it, and I do not want to spoil anything, but basically she finds out that there's the Silver Elite, which are the best of the best, and her kind of like boss or trainer or anything is Cross Redden, and she hates him. She absolutely hates him, but this also is a romantasy book. So you can guess what happens, and I gave this book 5 stars. It was so freaking good. And I think I read that in like 2 days, and it was just so good. So if you haven't read Silver Elite yet, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go read it. It's, I don't know if it's really fantasy or sci-fi, but it's one of the two. It's one of the two. I cannot remember if there was any fantasy elements. There was some stuff going on with like rebellion and stuff, so might be more sci-fi than fantasy, but please double check, because your girl has the brain of Dory from Finding Nemo. Anyway, another book I read was Holiday Ever After by, what's her name? Hannah Grace. And I've loved Icebreaker. I've loved the whole series. I was so excited for Holiday Ever After. And it was about, I don't remember her name, but she was like the daughter of this like doll company, but in this small town there was like a bookshop, I think Harry or Henry, one of the two. They came up with a doll inspired by the town people and all of that, and the whole like the doll company that she works for, they copied the doll, and there was a bunch of drama, and basically her dad sends her there and to fix it, to fix the backlash they're getting online. So she gets sent to that town with the promise that she had a promotion, basically. So she goes there trying to fix it, and starts to like realize, oh okay, maybe, you know, everything that I've believed in, I think it was Devonport or something, the big company, maybe like everything I've believed in isn't quite the way it, you know, was explained to me or something. And she starts to get to know the people, but she's still kind of hunting that promotion. So she tries to help those people from the village like build up their marketing and all that, and just tries to get the negative backlash down. But the owner of the doll and the toy store basically really gets into it with her, and I think they're kind of roomies for a bit as well. I've been reading a lot of roomie situation, wow. But yeah, so truthfully, I was really excited for the book, but I didn't enjoy it much because I don't know, I just couldn't connect with the characters. I didn't really feel the feelings between them, which I think Hannah Grace did it so well in Icebreaker, and especially Wildfire and Daydream. I loved the way they were interacting with each other, and they were like just expressing their feelings. And then in Holiday Ever After, it was kind of like meh, my opinion. And I also did not feel the Christmas spirit at all in the book, which it was meant to be a Christmas book, but I just didn't feel it. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but that is okay. That is only 2 disappointments in 7 books I read in January, and the last book that I read that month is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, and oh my god, I ate that up. I ate that up. It was such a good book. I wish I would have kept it because there were so many like cute little quotes in it that I've just loved, but I couldn't keep it. I left it in Australia. That is very sad, but it is what it is. Irresistible. I'm looking up the names of them, I'm sorry. The book is about Ariane and Osric, and basically he his powers come from, I don't know, like a source within him, and that source thing is kind of blocked and he needs help, because if he loses his powers, he is basically sent to death. And the only person he knows that will be able to help him is Orion. And they're from two different sectors, two different something, but basically she's into like this whole healing thing, he's a warrior thing, and they hate each other. They hate each other so much. So she doesn't want to treat him because he's one of the warriors, and she's like, you kill people for a living. I do not support that. But basically he convinces her to help, and they start spending some time together, and oh my god. Yeah, I ate that up. I totally ate that up, and I've been obsessed with the whole book. And in July, the next book is coming out. Oh my god, yes. I want to know how many series I've started in the last couple months that I have yet to finish or continue. No, it's a lot. It's a lot of series, and I really need to write that down and figure that out, because I've started so many good books that I have to continue. And that is one of them, which I cannot continue that yet because it's just not out yet. Good. Good. But that is that. And that is all the 7 books that I've read in January. So that is part 1 of this video. On to part 2, because I have notes. Because my brain would forget everything. I love this so much. It says, buy me books and tell me I'm pretty. Yes. Buy me books and tell me I'm pretty? Please. Okay, so in February I only read 3 books, so this should be quick. I started off with Fairy Tale, and I don't know what I expected, but I did not expect that book, and it took me so long to get through it. The first 60% I was basically just confused. It's a historic romance with fantasy elements. That's the whole gist of it, basically. Our main character, I think her name was Darcy. I hope it was, because she kept changing names. So they were like, she had those flashbacks of someone she used to be in a different life. She basically grew up kind of poor, and you know, and then she gets a call that her father passed away, and nobody, like, she didn't know who he was until she got that letter that he passed away. So she starts her journey to that fairy tale town, where she's supposed to inherit some money and whatever. And that's where the intrigues kind of start, and they all need her to conquer this demon. This really, really dangerous demon. But actually, she knew that demon from a past life. And it's this whole thing of that demon and her and those past versions she's been, and the town trying to defy him, and whole thing. I was confused until about 60%, and then I started getting hooked. So I didn't like the first 60%, and then I loved the last 40%. Where that actually leaves me, I don't know, but the ending was weird. So please, if you read it, what was going on? What was going on, honestly? I don't know. But yeah, not a bad book. I just didn't expect it to be so historic. And such a plot twist at the end. I was like, what? I thought this was going to be a drama-filled romantasy, and I totally went into it with the wrong intention, like the wrong expectation. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably could have if I had actually done some research. So it is more historic than it is anything else. And that confused me. So if you know that, you're gonna like the book. If you don't know that, you might be like me and be like, what in the world is going on? So yeah. And then next up we have Zodiac Academy, book number 5, which, same thing as I always do. I'm listening to the dramatized, oh my god, I'm listening to the dramatized audiobooks from Zodiac Academy. So I've only read the first half of Zodiac 5 because I just didn't get to book 2 yet. Like, I started getting so hooked, and I disliked book 1 to 4 of Zodiac Academy, and then I finally get hooked. I'm like, oh my god, I want to figure out what's going on, and then I choose a different audiobook because why the hell not? But yeah, so Zodiac Academy 5, and it's still about the sisters. They started off in book 1, Darcy and Tori. They start attending the Zodiac Academy. They start learning this whole thing because apparently they're heirs to this whole world. And that is, yeah, that is that. And finally I started being like really hooked and really into it. So I finished Zodiac Academy 5, the first half of the dramatized version. So there we go, great. And then we have Freeing the Wild. That is the last book I read. It was book number 4. It's book number 4 of the Silver Pines range. And I've loved those books, honestly. Like, book number 1 and 2, I ate those up because they're set in Kentucky. And my best friend lives in West Virginia, like 15 minutes from Kentucky. So I've been to Kentucky. I love Kentucky. It's a whole vibe. Freeing the Wild is about Cassie, and she's a country singer, and she gets to, what's her sister's name? Ivy? I think. Yeah. Her sister Ivy already lives on the ranch, and because she's kind of having like a burnout situation, she comes to the ranch, and she's done a few things. The first time she went on a wild horse, got kicked off, and basically one of the rancher got her in trouble, like got in trouble or got her in trouble, something like that. Basically they had a negative interaction, then they had a positive interaction. She left, she comes back, and then like, wait, what in the world's happening between us, you know? Romance, cowboy romance, oh my god, cowboy romance. He's a cowboy, she's a country star. It's meant to happen. Honestly, it's meant to happen. And I've ate it up. I ate it up. It was so freaking good. I loved it. And that was the last book that I read in February. So we got 3 books in February. Fairy Tale, Zodiac Academy 5, and Freeing the Wild. Which, definitely look at Freeing the Wild. If you're into cowboy romances, look at the series. Silver Pines Range. Loved it. And then we had 7 books in January. And that leaves us at 10 books since January. Whee! So that is not as much as I am used to reading, but it's still good because any book counts. Any page counts. Like, this is no competition whatsoever. I know that I can read more because I've read more before, but if this is your average, hell yeah, you're reading. So just, that's something I need to learn more as well. Like, it's not a bad thing if you don't read as much, because just as long as you're reading, as long as you're taking the time, spending, like, working on a book, reading a book, and just focusing on that, yeah, you're good. You're good. So yeah, I've read 10 books since the beginning of the year, and we finally have a little wrap up. And October, November, December will follow at some point, whenever I figure out what I've been reading there, which hopefully soon, and then you get a little update on that. I'm still planning to update you guys on my backpacking through Australia at some point. And then I'm hopefully still planning, what else am I planning? I don't even know. I'm just gonna get back into this and annoy the hell out of you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.